Despite what people may say, you don't have to be in New York or Montreal to make amazing bagels. I'm going to show you how to make them at home. Welcome to the channel, everyone, and if you're new, go ahead, click the like button down below. As usual, all the ingredients will be linked down in the description box. When baking, I always bloom my yeast first, and then we're going to add our flour, salt, and I'm using non-diastatic malt powder, which is going to give you that malty bagel flavor. Once my yeast is bloomed, I'm going to add my olive oil. Now attach a dough hook to my mixer, add the yeasty water to the dry ingredients, and mix it on low until all the flour pulls away from the sides of the bowl. And once the dough gets really tough and your machine is having a tough time mixing it, that's when you stop the machine. Bagel dough is a little bit tougher than normal bread dough. It's not as light and fluffy as you can see here. And once you reach this stage, you're going to knead this dough for about 30 seconds. All you're looking for is a nice, relatively smooth dough. Next step, take your dough, put it back in the bowl, cover it with a towel, and I proofed this for an hour and a half in my oven with only the light on. After an hour and a half, this is what you should get. I'm going to weigh my dough because I want 12 equal portions. This step is very important. You want to roll your dough balls into tight little balls. Make sure that the bottom seams are closed tight. Give it a nice roll until they're relatively round and smooth. You want to do this for all of them. It's going to give you a really nice looking bagel at the end. Now cover this with a damp towel for about 15 minutes and let it rest. After 15 minutes, we're ready to shape our bagels. Now I'm going to show you two ways to shape your bagels. This first way is very easy. You just want to pinch until both your fingers meet through the middle. Give this a nice little tear. Be gentle with it. Put your fingers in there and slowly rotate and stretch. You want your bagel hole to be about as big where almost a golf ball can fit in there. I'm going to show you again. Pinch through the center, then gently rotate and pull. I should also mention that these bagels are resting on a Silpat on a baking tray lined with cornmeal. Now I'm going to show you another way. This is more like the hand-rolled way. You want to take your dough balls and gently roll it out into an even log. Make it as even as you want. You don't want it looking like a pregnant snake. And then what I like to do is I like to give this an aggressive twist, as you can see here. And then just wrap this around your hands, and then on your surface, squeeze the dough together and give it a nice roll. Oops, got a little nubbin down there. Let's make sure that's all rolled together. And there you have a hand-rolled bagel. Now your refrigerator is going to do most of the work. After you're done rolling all your bagels, wrap this in plastic wrap and it goes into your refrigerator for 24 hours. Yes, 24 hours. It is totally worth it. 24 hours later, this is what your bagels should look like. Now, if you're vain like me and you want your bagels to look perfect, you can kind of finagle the bagel hole a little bit so it looks more even. And then onto our boiling liquid. I have 6 quarts of water, about 4 tablespoons of honey, about a 1/3 cup of dark brown sugar. Give this a stir. Preheat your oven to 475. Now, if you're going to top your bagels with anything, like I have here everything spiced, I'll put the ingredients down below. And here I have some Asiago cheese. I'm going to be making 3 different bagels today. Plain, everything bagel, and then the Asiago cheese. Once your liquid comes up to a simmer, place in some bagels. You want to boil these for about 30 seconds on each side. We're looking for a really nice gelatinized dough. This step is crucial. This is what's going to give you that signature, shiny, crispy bagel exterior. After 30 seconds, flip them on the other side and boil them for another 30 seconds. Now, most good bagel shops use a cedar board or some kind of board with a wet burlap sack on it. I'm using clean, wet kitchen towels that I folded lengthwise into thirds on top of a Silpat lined sheet tray. This is going to mimic the board with their burlap sack on it. And just like the bagel shops that use these heater boards with the burlap, they are placed top side down for the initial bake. This first bunch of bagels will be my plain and Asiago cheese bagels. Continue to boil your bagels until you have a full tray. Now these are nice and gelatinized, as you can see here. It's going to go into a 475-degree oven for the first cook, which is going to be about 6 minutes. And then if you're going to top your bagels, now's the time. Straight out of the water and into your mix, whatever it is that you're topping your bagels with. Here I'm using the everything bagel. If you're doing sesame seeds or poppy seeds, same technique. You want the topping side down. Now what the wet towel is going to do is it's going to create steam and it's going to hydrate your topping. So when you flip them over and bake, they will not burn. Now after the first 6 minutes, this is the tricky part. remove your bagels. We're gonna flip these onto the Silpat. Now, if it's too hot, use tongs. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna gently pull this down, flip them over. Now, this is the top side of the bagel. Rotate, and we're gonna do this to the other ones. Be very careful, it's hot. Grab your towel, gently flip them over, and that's it. Now, if you're gonna top them with cheese or any kind of cheese, this is the time to do it. You gotta be really quick. So I'm gonna top these with the Asiago cheese, and they're gonna go back into the oven for another 10 minutes. I should also point out that with my recipe, a Silpat is very important. With all the test batches that I did without one, the bottoms became very close to being burnt. Once your 10 minutes is up, I like to rotate my pans. Top goes to the bottom, bottom goes to the top, and also give this a turn, so that way the bagels that were in the back are now in the front and vice versa. This will go back into the oven for another 5 minutes, and once the 5 minutes is up, your bagels are done. Take them out and let them cool on a wire rack. If you like your bagels a little bit darker, feel free to bake it for another 2 minutes or so, but the only problem is if you're not gonna finish all these bagels in one sitting, when you go and toast these a couple days later, they're gonna be dry. Straight out of the oven, these are perfect. Now, if you also wanna store your bagels, these freeze well, but before you freeze them, you wanna slice them in half, so that way it's easier, so you're not cutting a frozen bagel. Now let's check out the bottoms. Really nice and perfectly caramelized. Not a lot of bagels videos show you what the bagels look like on the bottom. I think these are perfect and ready to go. I'm gonna enjoy an Asiago cheese bagel with some schmear. Feel free to deck this out any way you want. My kitchen smells incredible. Let's take these to the table. Homemade bagels. You don't need to be in New York or Montreal to make really good bagels. I think bread blisters are sexy. How do you guys eat your bagels? Do you guys put it together like a sandwich, or do you guys eat like the bottom first and then the top? I'm gonna go in. This is how I like to eat my bagels. Really nice, soft, chewy crumb. Heck yeah. You can go ahead and dress it any way you like. You know, this is a good spot for a picture. How about this one? I'm gonna take a bite of this part with all the cheese on it. It's so good. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead, click the like button down below, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. YouTube algorithm, yada, yada, yada. I'm gonna continue eating all this, guys. Let me know where you guys are from, where you guys get your bagels from, and then put a link for that bagel shop down below. I would love to see what kind of bagels you guys are into. Thank you again so much. Love and appreciate all the support. Take care of yourselves. And as always, peace.